See branches in between up here, in between the leaves, as it comes up. Main thing is to think about is trying to keep it your dark, medium, and light. You want to be able to try to draw and try to have all of those. You want to have the darkest dark.
Thank you. Bye.
You want to be able to have the darkest dark and the lightest light and the medium. And then, so here we have, so I've drawn this side by side. So here's a tree that looks kind of more, it's beginning to look a lot more tree-like than our symbol of a tree. And obviously the differences is the first tree was drawn very quickly. This we've already spent more time on. This has like medium. It doesn't have any sort of difference. This has dark, medium, and light. It also has some squiggly lines that represent bark and shapes of leaves, and squiggly lines representing shapes of leaves and actual shapes of leaves, and variation in the shape of the green part of the tree and variation in the shape of the trunk. Oops, I just colored that green. Oh well, I'll just color over the top of that. And then, okay, so for the flower, we'll continue on the flower. Here we have another symbol of a symbol of a flower. And I'll draw over here another flower. Now I'm going to try to speed this up a little bit to save time. So I'll go ahead and using my regular pencil, I'm going to draw. And the stem is, some stems on a flower look like a line. This stem is going to be like that. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to draw actually kind of a similar flower like a daisy. Now the petals on the daisy, some petals are round, but the petals of a daisy typically look more pointed on the ends. So we get it, and it's not the same. They're different. Each petal is different, and the leaves are kind of different. Now I've drawn something that doesn't look that different from what we had before. Now I'm going to go in with the green. I'm going to be darker on the edges. And I'm drawing more detail than before. And I'm going to shade the bottom one of this, the bottom part of the leaf. I might come in later and add more details. I might try to find more colored pencils later, but this is what I have for right now. And now maybe I'll make the leaves of the flower. Maybe I'm going to make this. And once again, we've spent more time on the second flower than on the first quick drawing. But this flower begins to look more realistic with the same details as before. The fact that we spent more time on it, the fact that it has very light and it has much darker. So it has differences in light and dark. And differences in the kinds of ways of marks that were made on it. So leaves could have lines that look kind of like this on it, kind of hatching lines. Grass looks a lot like hatching, but it goes in different. Grass usually doesn't all grow in the same direction. It kind of grows in different directions, and it's different sizes. Sometimes there's some grass that's very long, and sometimes it's very short. Sometimes grass is yellow. It gets dried out. It can be yellow. I don't know if this yellow is going to show up very well. So there's some grass, so a little bit more detail. So moving on to the last one, our animal. So I drew something that looks kind of like a cat bear. I'm not sure what it is, to be honest. And I think I'll go ahead and grab another piece of paper for that one because I went down with the house, and I'll just go ahead and. So again, for any kind of animal, it is a good idea to look at the animal, look at an example. So let's say you were drawing a cat. You might want to look at a picture of a cat or a drawing of a cat. So cats have They have a head. The head is shaped so once again, what we're doing is we're the same idea is drawing lightly, looking at an example and trying to start off drawing very lightly. The body comes down. Usually, animals' bodies are narrower towards the top, and they come down in a shape. Here, I've drawn something like a pear shape. This is kind of like a shape of a piece of pizza, like a triangle with rounded edges. And then maybe the arms, his front feet come down. I'm not drawing that differently than before. It's a similar shape. The same concept as I'm drawing very lightly to start with and spending more time on it and adding more detail. The tail, sometimes the tail wraps around the feet at the bottom. Sometimes the tail, you can see the tail from behind. So we'll draw the same cat as before. And the feet are kind of stacked up, usually the front feet. So I've drawn little circles to kind of represent where the feet are going to go. Here's his little, and then ears are kind of triangular shaped in cats. A lot of animals have ears. They might be round or it depends. The eyes are normally shaped like little lemons, and they have little things like this in them. And the nose is normally a triangular shape. This cat looks kind of like almost has a face that looks similar like a lion. So you want to. So this cat has turned into kind of a lion that's a little bit chubby. So we got our chubby lion here. So we have a cat here, a lion, this kind of chubby lion, and so I have this. I might want to erase. So I might want to erase some of these lines. The feet come down. You know, if I do make this into a lion, lion's ears are shaped more like rectangle, little boxes. They have kind of a more of a boxy shape. Cat's ears are shaped triangular. A regular cat as a pet, a house cat, have a triangular ear, and then lions have ears that look. You could make it kind of like a round box. And then if it's a girl, it doesn't have. It's like this, and if it's a guy, it has obviously it has kind of a mane that goes like a giant hairstyle that comes all around, and the hairstyle, the mane, I call it a hairstyle. It can be colored with hatching. You know, again, the mane could be a shape like this, and then I made my mane so huge that it takes up the entire lion, and the tail got hidden behind it. And I have this orange color, this yellow that's kind of orange, so it's kind of a lion color. So we'll use that color part of it in. You don't have to spend the time to color the whole thing, but you can color before you're done drawing outlines, and then use coloring as part of the formation of the outlines. The knee comes up, and it's shaped kind of that, and then the feet were kind of a typical feet. What I'm just going ahead and I'm drawing kind of. Let me come back in with the pencil. I'm drawing kind of these are kind of rectangular, and the toes came out. And this lion has 3 toes for some reason. Because the cats and lions, a lot of times their feet are kind of like stacked up, and part of it's in front of the other, and you can't see. So there's that sitting down here. His arms, and then nose kind of looks like a triangular shaped thing, and I kind of made the eyes a little bit more rectangular, and I started getting really dark when I started drawing these details, and they might have I'm not sure if you can see whiskers on lions. It depends on how close you are, I suppose. You don't want to be too close to a lion. I mean, I would highly suggest just looking at a picture of a lion at this point. This turned into a lion. Interestingly about lions is their faces seem similar to certain dog faces sometimes. So cats and dogs, they have a lot of similarities in the way their faces are. Dogs come in a lot of varieties, so this lion has huge ears for some reason. So the same concept. Now we're going in and coloring in, drawing in some hair. You don't have to draw every single hair. Draw the main outline of a mane. I'm coming in with my colored pencil that was brownish purple, kind of I guess maroon. I guess that would be maroon. This lion is very stylish. Has kind of maroon tinted mane. The end of the tail has the tail. Oops, the tail's up here, I guess. Colored pencil is pretty hard to erase. The end of a lion's tail has a dark end on it. Maybe draw this tail coming up. So go ahead. So here's some differences between these two cats. This cat got turned into a lion. It has more detail. Working on having darks and lights to give it more shape so that it looks more three-dimensional. This cat here, this was drawn. There's more time spent on this cat than this cat, obviously. More detail. Look at a picture of, try to find a picture of the thing that you're drawing. If it's a lion or, a dragon or a character, you might want to look at an example of the thing that you're drawing. Or if you're making something up, making up your own creature, just, look at other examples. A lot of invented creatures are made up of other creatures, so you might want to look at other creatures, other animals. I'm going to go ahead and darken this mane a lot. This mane looks a lot like kind of thinking of a rock star, certain rock stars from the 1980s, which was a long time ago, but maybe not for me. But so I'm just going in, making the outline a little bit darker towards the edges, and kind of outlining this a little bit. The feet, I would actually need to. I think I might need to spend more time looking. And there we have our lion and our cat, and the two houses from before. We have the tree symbol, and the tree drawing, and a flower drawing, and a flower. So the differences really had to do with taking the time to give yourself some practice going from light to dark. You need to have like a very light, a very dark, and some medium, and some areas in the medium. Also use different kinds of ways that you draw, whether you're drawing squiggly, hatching, cross-hatching, squiggly, these are tiny bubbles, or just different marks like that look like the things, look like grass or look like rocks or things. It's not too hard to make things three-dimensional, like letters. And when you know how to make three-dimensional letters, you can draw buildings and houses and cars and trucks and animals and plants and all sorts of things. And just enjoy doing this. It's a great thing to do on a rainy day, and I hope you guys are having a great time. Okay, thank you for watching.